Okay, well, the garage is getting a little bit filled up. We've got another project in here, about a 120-year-old Victrola, which we're not going to talk about today. But what we are going to talk about is the 1975 Can-Am 250 TNT, which we're working on, and it's working really great mechanically. However, the front brakes are not that crazy good. I got to tell you, the rear brakes seem to work really well. I'm not at all concerned with them the way they're working. Although I do have a comment around the foot actuator there, the foot pedal, which I'll get to in a little bit, which maybe you guys can help me with. But my real concern is the front brakes. They just seem to be really terrible. I have ordered, I think I mentioned, the new Magura style levers here. This one's broken, obviously, and so we're going to go and see if that helps a little bit as well. But I really want to have a look at the brake shoes on the front tires. So let's take that off and let's have a look at it and see what those brake shoes look like. So let's get after it. Okay, well, step one, we need to take the speedo off. We're also going to need to disconnect the front brakes. So I've already got this loosened off here, but this just just spins off. Ah, there we go. We got it. Okay, good. Boy, that was simple. Got that off. Now let's go on the other side and get the brake cable off. Okay, so we'll take the brake cable off. Same sort of process. Just kind of lift this up, pull this off, pull our cable, pull the boot off, pull the cable out of here, and just to keep it all together, we're just going to stick it all back together again. So. Alrighty, so now the next bit is to take this nut off and hold this side here while we're doing it. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so now we're going to see if we can take this wheel right off now that we've got the speedo off and got the brake cable off. So the first step is going to be to take this big nut off. Now, I unfortunately do not have a metric wrench that's the right size for this. So we'll spin that off of there. There's a nice big washer there as well. And then what we're going to need to do once we get this off is we're going to need to take these pinch bolts, loosen the pinch bolts off. There's a pinch bolt that goes right through here, so we're going to need to get this off. Loosened up significantly, so that I don't think we'll have to take it right out, but we have to do that on both sides. There's another pinch bolt right here, so same deal, just loosen this guy off. Yeah, she's nice and loose. Okay, so now what we should be able to do with a bit of luck is grab our rubber hammer. Do not use a regular hammer. Rubber hammer, give us a bit of a whack. We'll get that so far that way. Now I'm going to grab a brass punch and punch it through with a brass punch. So let me just grab that. And then failing that, we'll see if we get that far enough with this to get it out. Oh, it looks like we're going to be golden here. Oh yeah, I can pull it out from the other side now. So I'm just going to turn this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Ta-da! How about that? Okay, great. And our wheel, look at that, our wheel is off. So, there we go. So now we can take a look and take a look at our, at our brake drums there. So let me just angle this down a little bit. Let's just do it right on the floor here. Let's pull this out and take a look at our pads, see what we got going on here. So. Yeah, there's fair bit of wear there. Those are not new pads. I'm not too sure how much material is on there. I wonder, are these unobtainium? I wonder if I can find these. I would love to replace these because they're very shiny. Very shiny. It doesn't really look like brake material there, or too much of it is left. So I think the next step is for me to kind of investigate that a little bit and see if we can find some brake shoes for this thing. Okay guys, well we're looking at the brake shoes here, and initially when I was first looking at them I didn't think there was hardly any brake pad on here at all, and you can see how terribly glazed they are. But I took a little bit of 3M Scotch-Brite here and just cleaned up the edges so I could actually see how much material is on there, and there's actually a fair bit of brake pad material left, so I think we're actually going to be okay. One of the things that concerns me though is how glazed those are. The other thing that's kind of interesting, I cleaned up just the front bit here too, and it actually, it's got the Made in Canada logo there. 1974, that's got a big 7-4 there. I'm sure that means 1974, which means, and of course the bike is a 1975. Yeah, both of them say 74. The bike is 1975, so these are the brake pads that are almost assuredly original to the bike. No wonder they're a bit glazed, eh? So I think what we're going to do, I've frankly never done this before. I mean, these brake pads, as you guys know if you're watching this video, are really hard to get. I'm hoping that Vintage Roost will get some in stock at some point, and I mean, it seems that most guys, if you want some, you got to go get them relined. But of course, I've got lining on here, so I think what we're going to do is try to clean these up and deglaze them. I would frankly never do this if I could just buy new pads. I would never do it. I would just go buy pads, wrong term, brake shoes. I would just buy new brake shoes. And be done with it, but obviously we can't do that. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of a bigger piece of Scotch-Brite here, and I'm going to see if I can just deglaze these puppies a little bit here. So I don't want to get too carried away. I mean, I don't really, frankly, know what the process is for this, because again, I would never do this. I would just go buy some new ones. But we're going to give this a go and see if this is going to rough it up enough for us, and see what we can do. Now, it would be nice if we could kind of get a cross action, but I don't really want to take them off just to do that, because I think we're going to get, more adhesion if we have this kind of process here. Or maybe we'll go in circles. Maybe that's the process. I'm sure you guys are screaming at your screen right now saying, what is this crazy guy doing? And I don't blame you. So you know what? Let me know what I'm doing wrong in the comments, okay guys? Let me know what else I could use to do this. I mean, is deglazing, have you ever deglazed brake shoes before? I don't know. Actually, this seems to be working pretty good. So here's the before. I don't know if you can really see the shine there. And I don't know if I'm going to quite call it after, because I'm probably going to do a little bit more, but that's definitely a lot better. We're obviously going to spray all of this down with some brake cleaner as well once we get to a certain point here as well. Try to clean all of this up. And we'll do the same with the, with the drum inside the wheel as well. We're going to clean that up as well. But I'm actually pretty encouraged. The bike has only got 2,500 miles on it. And so, these brake pads, it's not surprising that they're original. Okay, let's grab a tray here. Let's grab a crappy tray and I'll get this out of the way. And okay, grab our brake cleaner and let's give these things a little bit of a spray. Again, why am I doing this? I'm doing it because the bike's just not stopping very good with the front brake at all. I think the fact that it was so glazed is really the issue. Um, and hopefully this process will help that. That's kind of the goal here. Alrighty, well I think that's it for that process. I think now let's go and I'll go and I'll clean up the hub as well. I'll probably give this a little bit of a go with the Scotch-Brite pad as well and a little bit of brake cleaner, and then we'll just put the whole thing back together. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let's give this a little bit of a go with the Scotch-Brite as well. We're not going to be hurting anything with this, that's for sure. We're just taking whatever glazing is on there, and obviously the glazing is on the pads really, not so much on the metal bits here, but we're just going to rough it up a little bit, kind of do that. Then we'll take it outside and give it a spray with the brake clean and just dump it out. Stick her back in. Stick it all back together again and see what this does for us. I mean, who knows, maybe the braking was totally normal on this bike. I really don't know. You know, I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. I can tell you it doesn't stop very damn good. But maybe that's just the way it is. That could be too. I don't really know. Okay guys, I'm going to take this outside and spray it down with brake cleaner. You don't need to see me do that. Then we're going to put it all back together and we'll see if it makes a difference. Okay guys, I've sprayed the drum out with the brake cleaner. Obviously we've cleaned this up as well, and you can see now that this is dried, we've completely lost the glazing off of here as well. I don't know if you can really, I'll try spinning the tire here. You probably can't see too much, but trust me, it looks a lot better in there than it did. So yeah, so I think what we're going to do now is we're just going to, there we go, put back together. How about that? Let's go, let's go and throw it on the bike. So while we have the front tire off, I'm going to take the opportunity to clean this up a little bit. As you can see, it's all pretty dirty and whatnot. I'm also going to actually use a little bit of metal polish on these as well. I'm going to use this stuff here. It's what the heck is it? Flitz polish. I use that on my Triumph, and works pretty good on there. So we're going to try it on here, on the down tubes here, on the shocks, and just see what that does there. So yeah, I'm just going to start off taking just the dirt off, and then we're going to try doing a little bit of polishing. Not much to see here. We're just gonna try to take this dirt off first here, and you know, get the grimy stuff off. You know, again, we're not making a concourse bike here, but we are trying to clean it up a little bit to make it look a little bit nicer than what it does now. She's kind of in her barn fresh mode at the moment, if you will, but we're going to see what we can do to kind of make it a little bit better. So yeah, once we get all the crap off of it, then we're going to use the polish. Okay guys, I've got most of the dirt off of these things now, and now what we're going to do is just try to give them a bit of a polish. So what I'm going to do here is I've just got this on a piece of sock material that's designed for, I think it's designed for this kind of stuff. I bought it off of Amazon. I'll maybe show that to you in a minute. Beauty of it is you just cut off whatever length you want and throw your polish on it and give it a go. We're not going to get carried away with this. Obviously this thing's got dings and dangs and has been used and loved over the years, but we're just going to make it as nice as we can. Well, maybe not even as nice as we can. We're just going to give it a go. We're just going to give it a go. Now I'm going to do this quite a bit more than what I'm showing you here. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I just want to kind of show you the process. I'm squeezing a bit of that polish onto the material and then just giving it a go. Okay, so that's the process on that. The next bit is going to be after we get this all cleaned up and polished up. We're going to go and put the tire back on. Okay, I don't think I spent 15 minutes on this job. You could definitely do it better, but I just wanted to show you guys how nice this is already. And I'm not going to do any more. I think that's good enough for this bike. But you can see the nice, you couldn't even see that Bombardier on there before it was so dirty, but when oxidized. But yeah, as you can see, it comes up really good and easy. And honestly, God, didn't take any effort at all. So definitely, definitely worth taking the time to do that. Okay guys, so we're going to try to put the wheel back on here now. So first thing we're going to do is put our speedo on. Obviously it goes on the on this side, so we'll just stick that into here. Just press fit it in there to hold for right now. Okay, so we got that on there. We're going to take our brake drum that we've nicely cleaned up here and deglazed. We're going to stick that on here as well. We're lining up the channel for our the front fork here, and we're going to grab our bolt, so when we get it up in the requisite position we can hopefully put her home. So let's give this a go here. So try and get this in place. So there goes our speedo. This is how things go, eh? So the speedo back in there. Alrighty. Nothing to it. Okay, so now we just have to bolt it all up and we should be good. Assuming anything doesn't fall off the stand. But I think we're good. I think we're good so far. Yeah, we're gonna have to obviously tighten this up a little bit more and feel what it's like at the levers as well, but that's pretty much it. The tire is back on. So it's gonna be interesting to see when we ride it if that little job has made a difference or not. So I think that's the next thing. I think we're gonna take her for a spin and yeah, see what makes a difference. Okay guys, well while we're at the topic of looking at brakes, the one thing that really drives me crazy here is the height of this brake pedal. It is just wildly high relative to the foot peg. Just look at that. Now is that normal for this bike? You know, every other bike I've had, that the foot pedal would be down, you know, relatively in line or maybe slightly above your foot peg, but this one is like, I don't know. It's probably a good 3 inches above the foot peg, which, and mind you, this is a really flat foot peg. So the other thing that goes through my mind is maybe changing out the foot peg for one that's, you know, a little bit higher might help. But I have a feeling that this might be one of those combination issues. Now the brake pedal, I've looked in the manual, the brake pedal does have an adjuster. It's this nut or bolt right, it's this bolt right here. The farther in it goes, the lower down the brake pedal goes. But to do that adjustment, also going to have to adjust the brake light switch here, and also probably have to adjust the brakes on the back of the wheel here too. In fact, for sure we will. So we're going to have to adjust the brakes as well, and to do that, because there's almost, you can see there's like no extra rod here as it is. So what we're going to have to do is actually move move the position of this so it's a little bit more forward to give us a little bit more space. So yeah, so that's what we're going to have to do. So anyways, I think I'm going to do that because I would really like to figure the brakes out for the bike, front and rear. As I mentioned, the brakes in the rear work really good. It's just a matter of finding the damn brake pedal, because you practically have to get on a ladder to find the gosh darn thing. But anyways, I think we're going to give that a go. So let's do it. Okay, I have taken some brake cleaner to to that bolt and cleaned it up here. it kind of looks like it's already driven all the way in because there's a bolt and then a jam nut and it's all the way driven all the way in, but it's really short. Like looking on the other side, it's, I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a bigger bolt in there. I think that's probably what we're going to do. But let's take it out and see exactly what we got there. Okay guys, I've got a trouble light hooked up, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. This looks a lot like 10 mil. So I'm going to pull this whole thing out and have a look at it because I think it's just too short. You can see the jam nut, like that would be way up here. Wow, so the thing was already all the way in. I suspect this was driving the previous owner crazy too, because I doubt if the default is all the way in, although maybe it is, I don't really know. See if we can get this out of here. All right, and it is a relatively short little bolt. So I think our solution here is just get a longer bolt. That looks like, what do you figure that is? M6? What do you guys figure? I think it's an M6. Whatever it is, I think we get a longer one, drive that thing in, that'll lower this brake pedal down where we want it. Then we'll just have to adjust the light, the brake light, the actual brakes themselves on the wheel, etc. But I think that's our solution. So I'm going to hunt around and find myself one about twice this long. Let's see if I can figure that out. Okay guys, a little hunting around, and we are going to change out the old adjusting bolt here. So that's the one we had, right? Focus there. See the bolt and the nut for adjusting. We're going to change that out with with this one here. So you can see it's quite a bit bigger. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a lock washer instead of the locking nut, so it will be kind of non-adjustable, and I'm just going to run the thing all the way down so I can get the pedal down as far as I want it. We're going to try that initially. If that doesn't work, then I'll go the locking nut route but I have a feeling that's going to work out pretty well for us. But before we do that, I want to loosen off the brake light here. So I could just take the spring off, but you know what it's like when you take springs off. I think I'm just going to loosen the thing off here because we're going to have to do that anyways. And just let that switch drop down farther as much as we want it to. Lots of adjustment on this. It's probably an indication that this thing, the pedal's too high. It probably, maybe it's I have to admit, I'm not really a motocross guy, so maybe it's a motocross thing that you have it ridiculously high like that. But you know what? This is my bike, and I don't really want it that way. So I'm just gonna try seeing how far down we can get that pedal. Now I probably am gonna have to loosen off the brakes as well to get this all the way down to where I want it. But for now, it's just a test, see where she's gonna go and end up. It's already looking a lot better, eh? It's already, I guess, that's about where it would be if I put the nut on there, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna loosen off the brakes. I don't think you guys need to see that. I'll be right back. Okay, we've completely loosened the brakes off, so this pedal should just drop for us. So now I'm going to run this thing right in. Let's just see how low that's... Can you see as I'm doing this? Let me just see if I change the angle here. You can see the pedal go down as I'm doing it here. I'll just move myself into a position where I can show that to you. So let's just twirl this thing in. You'll see the pedal going down and down and down. There we go. That's all the way in. Now, is that too low? That might be too low, eh? All right, so let's take this out. At least, you know what? I think now we probably maybe can have the assurance, maybe putting that lock nut in there as well. Just back it out to approximately the width of that nut. That'd be about there. You know what? I think that's okay. I'm going to put an M6 nut on this thing. And we'll do it the proper way. The only difference, of course, really is that we're using a hex head here now for an Allen key. And this is stainless steel bolt and washer, so it's not going to rust up on us or ever have an issue, which is a good thing. So I'm just going to grab an M6 nut and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we've got our nut for our M6 bolt. So we're just going to go and put that on. We'll basically screw it all the way on there. Get her all the way on. And then we're going to put a washer, stainless steel washer on this side. And then when we get it to where we want it, we'll tighten this down into into the adjuster, and that'll hold it firm. So that's kind of the game plan here. Anyways, we'll see if that works. I have a feeling we're going to put this whole assembly in tight, and actually I'd prefer that. That way nothing can come undone. Kind of makes sense. I think. I'm just going to see where that leaves our pedal. You know what? I think we're going to live with that for right now, and then we'll, if we don't like it, at least we know how to solve it. I think we'll just live with that for now. I'm just going to tighten that up. You guys are probably screaming at your thing saying, no, it's the way it's supposed to be, you dummy. And I'm sure you're right, but you know, it's the beauty of having your own bike. You can do your own thing and make your own mistakes, right? So, all right, well, as we expected, we're gonna have to adjust the brakes. I mean, I'm not done anything yet. You can just see, I mean, here's our cable. It's supposed to go through that little hole, you know, like, yeah. So what we're gonna need to do is take these jam nuts off, take this assembly off, and just rotate it a little bit so it's kind of in the right position again. You know, God knows when this was off last. I mean, this could have been, with 2,500 miles on this bike, this could have been, you know, 1974 when it was assembled, for all I know. She's been on there a while, but we'll take her off. Okay guys, so we got that off. Of course you have to release the spring as well. It's kind of what I was not doing before when you saw that. Also fully remove the bolt as well. It captures it just like it would on a on a gear shift lever, etc. So you have to take that right out and of course release the spring. So it was way down here, something like that before if you recall, but I think we're going to put it up in this range here, somewhere like that. And then we'll just adjust it. So probably a little bit farther back than what I think, maybe in there somewhere. What do you figure? That should give us some room to get things tightened up. And then of course when we tighten it up, hopefully it'll end up somewhere in the middle of the travel here or something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So it could be a little bit of a, a little bit of a guesstimate here, but I think that's going to work for us. So let's give that a go. Okay, we're just buttoning it up here. We got her on there. We put our bolt in. We're just tightening her up here. And then we'll put the rest of it together once we get this on there. So, okay, I think we've got it positioned pretty well now. We're just starting to drag here a little bit. You can kind of hear it. Hear that? A little bit more. Yeah, it's definitely dragging there. Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it about there, and I'm gonna ride it and see how she goes. Here, I'll spin the pedal, spin this, and give the brake pedal a go. Let's just see if that's gonna tell us too much, but yeah. So yeah, I think that's gonna be good. So I guess the other thing to test is to make sure that our brake light still works. So let's give that a go and make sure that's working. Okay guys, well that pretty much wraps up this one. Maybe I'll just show you that the brake lights do work now that we've adjusted those rear brakes. So let's turn the bike on, and yeah, there's the back. There you go, there's the brake light working. So yeah, she's all back together. And our foot position, here's the final result for us. Yeah, here's the final result for us. Hopefully that gives you a good idea. So I'm guessing it's still about an inch or maybe an inch and a half above the peg, above this very flat peg that I have, which I think is acceptable. Certainly a world of difference from where it was before. So hopefully that helps somebody, but it's definitely going to help me. So I'm pretty keen about that. One thing I'll just mention is I think we're going to wrap this video up here today, but yeah, if you guys could subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Also, please leave a comment. You know, as you can tell, I'm just a tinkering guy. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I could use all of your help and guidance and insights as to what the best way to do stuff is. So would really appreciate the comments, feedback, and input. And please subscribe and please like the video as well. Also, the most important thing is leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what I'm doing right or wrong. And I will commit to replying to each and every one of you. So whoever leaves a comment, I will absolutely write back to you. So thanks, guys. Have a really good one, and we'll catch you on the next one.